Warning, this video is intended for adult collectors. It contains plastic collectibles, questionable opinions, and the guy that won't leave Scott McNeil alone. You have been warned. This is Random Review.
By Patreon request, I recently reviewed Botcon 2010 Clench, which is one of my favorite Botcon figures, but someone pointed out to me that it really wasn't fair to review Clench if I didn't also review Spark, the Autobot leader of that team and that year. So, of course, you're correct. So, by Patreon request again, we are going to be looking at Spark himself from the 2010 Botcon set, otherwise known as Generation 1 Euro or Generation 2 Pyro. I just realized how badly I misspoke that. You know what I mean. It's Euro G1, G2, whatever. But, so, Spark it is. And I find it ironic that the leaders of the Euro G1 Autobots and Decepticons both have alternate names that clash with Marvel trademarks. Clench is also called Colossus. This guy is also called Pyro. Both are X-Men villains. Does that have anything to do with anything? No. What I like is that Spark is actually, when it was named Spark, they didn't have that as a thing in fiction yet. So retroactively, he named himself Soul or Life, which is really appropriate for a rescue vehicle when you think about it. Enough dawdling on names. Let's actually talk about the toy itself. So, you have a beautifully detailed rendition of Universe 2, Inferno. And there's no real vehicle that matches Pyro's. It's an exceptionally detailed figure and a unique look. So to actually recreate it is kind of difficult. They did their best here with the toys they had available. But in order to accomplish that, they had to go as extra as Botcon ever did. Look at Spark here and realize that almost all of this toy is cast in 3 different shades of plastic. This hot pink, this reddish pink you see, the blue that you see for the cannon, and the gray for the wheels. Beyond that, it's just a translucent pink for the windshields and the light bar. Everything else is paint. Every other color you see all the way across this toy is paint. TF Wiki has it on record of this toy being one of, if not the most painted Transformer ever, outside of things like, Masterpiece Megatron, which is almost 100% covered in paint. Situations like that. But for Botcon, this is the record. And it really shows. There's just so much color going on here in order to make this work. So, you can see that lavender on the windshield. Just lavender windshields. Yeah, it's not words I ever thought I would say. Gold along the side. It's Pyro or Spark, however you knew him. Gold plastic figure. I had a chance to get one day, and I passed on it because of the gold plastic. I hate the stuff. But the rear section, in order to replicate the original toy, done up in yellow and black for caution stripes. Lots of paint going on. The sign number on the side. Toward the back, no real paint going on here, but you can at least see the bare plastic colors and get a better look at those. Yeah, just ridiculous. Through the front, look at the gold painted on, and then the headlights left open. The yellow for the bumper. You can see inside. The inside is really cool in this figure because they molded in seats and a steering wheel to give it a more authentic look and to make it look like something actually could feasibly hide in there. So really cool little touch they don't normally do. Beyond that, it's a standard fire truck. Well, it's a mini fire truck. Let's be fair here, but it rolls on all 6 wheels. That's all I could really ask. And then up top, we do have this. Once upon a time, a water cannon, which did at one time have a translucent blue missile. Here, or actually no, I think it's just plain white. It's been a while since I looked at Universe 2 Inferno, now that I think about it. But it had a really cool thing to do with its translucent plastics with like a translucent blue painted on. It worked perfectly, and then they never did it again. Weird. Here, though, it is just this reddish, pinkish plastic. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and take that missile out just so we don't accidentally lose it at some point, you know. Ironic though, like it seems like more like this one was designed to spit fire besides water, so they went a little bit more offensive than the original Inferno toy. But with it gone, yeah, you can still see that extra paint just keeps on going every time you look at a new angle. All right, transformation? Transformation. Let's see how let's actually transform this thing. So he does work in a lot of panels. For such a beefy boy, he's still very much reliant on panels because you remember, this is 2008. Transformer engineering is still going through the origins of the live-action movie phase and going into Revenge of the Fallen. They're starting to figure out that panels covering robot mode parts is an easier way of engineering things. So we're going to get a lot more of that here. So transforming him is going to involve loosening up a bunch of panels so that we can actually transform him down. So unclips from that section there. Go ahead and do that on the other side as well. Freeze up the legs. See, the arms are going to be trapped in there for a hot minute. There's a lot more panels here. Let's see. I can't really do anything with the waist just yet, so let's go ahead and handle the arms. So more panels here. This whole cab section is panels that have to come undone and hinge out like that. Okay, with those up, arms can come forward. Let's actually handle some of these and get these out of the way. Fold those up and rotate that around. It's going to get that out of the way. All set for the robot mode. For these panels, the black folds up, that folds in and out, like so. All right, now let's get the waist situated. We're gonna fold those vehicle wheels in, fold them in like so. That done like that, we can rotate the legs into their finished position for the robot mode. Flip the feet down like so. Flip the bumper down to create our pelvis. Start lining everything up. This cannon is going to fold onto the back of the arm like so. Mount right there. Fold those down. I believe we have a little bit of a spring function. I remember which one is... Oh. Come on. I know it's one of you. There we go. Got so frustrated I didn't even have it lined up. There. Not the strongest spring after all these years, but hey, still works. And that's still going to give us our completed robot mode. So yeah. For a bulky guy, Spark really does not have a super involved transformation. It's a lot of panels covering up the robot parts, and the robot parts are pretty much where you expect them to be in a vehicle transformer like this. You know, it's a product of its time, you know? You know, these days we've had Inferno toys that actually do use the bulk a lot better than this. So, you know, it happens. It's how toys were engineered at the time. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's just not as interesting or thrilling to me as it typically would be. But now that we have him in robot mode, you know, the paint is still just like so dominant and glorious on this guy. And with so many of the yellow stripes folded away, now we can actually see where like, that pink is now just dominating this vehicle. Very, very bright, vibrant color. Very beautiful shade. Very atypical color for a Transformer toy. Nice thing about Botcon toys is they could take the risks that Hasbro at retail are a little bit too scared to take. So if they want to do a pink toy, they can do a pink toy. And there's absolutely no harm in that whatsoever. And yeah, he looks really, really nice as a result. Let me take a look at the head mold real quick. There's no new head on this toy. They may do with what they had. It's just the plain old Inferno head with a blue as well as a little bit of gold there on the face. Gold, we established, is kind of a traditional face color for Generation 2, so not a big surprise there. How about I fold these panels to the back so I can't see a big gap through his torso? I totally forgot that's a thing that this toy could do. And yeah, you can see the G2 Autobot logo right there on his windshield. Very proud symbol. They're on the sides there as well. I should have pointed them out in the vehicle mode. You'll excuse me, but they do exist. So, yeah, like we said, it is just overwhelming how much paint is going on this toy. Not as much going on here. In the vehicle mode, they had to try and come as close as they could, and they could do a lot of that with paint because that vehicle mode is basically just a blank slate, and they could do with as they please. You know, as long as there's surface to paint, they can make it look like G2 Pyro, Euro G1 Pyro, whatever. Too many designations for this character. But for the robot mode, they're kind of forced to come as close as they can. The original toy didn't have the windshield chest, so they're trying to make do. They're trying to put the colors as close to where they were on the original toy as they could. It's it's an improvisation. As we said, Botcon toys were always very limited in what they could do. Try to represent a character with a mold that doesn't quite work. They'll try to make it work as much as they can. This one needs to try particularly hard. So we're trying to view it as just a new incarnation of the character, but it hits the right notes. The yellow on the arms, the shading is correct, hits the gold without having so much that makes you think, oh, gold plastic. No. It all works well enough. And overall, I like the look of the figure. It's vibrant, if anything. The overall bulk of it, yeah, it is a bulky boy. You do have all this kibble. Most of the shell ends up hanging off the arms, and then everything else is pretty much handled by the bulk of the legs. And yeah, besides that, nothing, too messy going on as far as engineering. Yep, he's somewhat clean for his era, which is actually kind of nice to see. If you want, these do rotate, so if you would rather them go to the back, they can. It gets a little bit in the way of the arm cannon unless you fold the elbow. So you can change up the silhouette a little bit if you do not like it. The one thing that does always bug me about this mold is the way that the hips are handled. With that bumper, he really doesn't have a proper pelvis look, per se. And if you fold it up and try to get that out of the way, he doesn't really have a proper pelvis here either. He has, unfortunately, what I call energon hips, where they are mounted vertically in order to create the articulation in the range, which can accomplish the job, but is a very weird feeling and sometimes doesn't quite get the poses exactly right. Also, he has this weird hinge thing to his pelvis, like you see this, right? Look in the back here, there's actually an arm. So it's not even a solid positioning, which gives you a natural stance possible, yeah, but it also just feels super weird when you're trying to get him into any particular pose. It's a bizarre bit of articulation. Very weird style for the figure. We can go into articulation, I guess. So head does rotate all the way around. It gets a little bit stuck for the hinges, but it's fine. A little bit of up and down. Universal shoulders with a really nice detenting to them, going up and down, outwards, nice and stiff. Full bicep rotation. Elbows work well. You get a wrist rotation as well. No waist articulation. The weird energon hips, as we mentioned. Knees still work, 90 degree. You get a rotation just below the knee rather than, along with whatever kind of thigh swivel that is. And then, yes, there is a little bit of a foot rotation or ankle tilt as well. So, yeah, he's a big, beefy boy, but he does give you a nice level of articulation and some good posability, with the waist joint really being the only outlier. He doesn't have a weapon accessory, unfortunately. It's kind of built into him, so you can't really do much with it. And since it's underslung, it's kind of a low-key element anyway. But that is Botcon 2010 Spark. I do really like this toy, and like I said, it is a visual experience of a toy. Admittedly, transformation is not engaging. I wish it didn't use as many panels, but it's fine. You know, it's a clean, if not simple, transformation. And yeah, it's all about just like the visual burst that this toy is. It is radiating Euro G1, and I think that was the goal of the figure, and in that, it hits it spot on. So, what am I to complain of? He accomplishes everything he set out to do. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.